Outside the Box. I'm your host, Kate of Gaia, with stellar co-host Tony Z. How you doing, Tony?
Not too bad, Kate. Not too bad at all. Firing on all cylinders and...
in so many different ways. And,
oops. Yeah. Okay, that was great. Yeah, firing on all different cylinders and looking forward to getting some of those answers out there to the people that really give a shit about, the truth.
Yeah, I guess you had it still playing, eh?
Yeah, I was actually trying to tap into the chat room at the time there, and I didn't realise that the actual sound had started as soon as we did. But hey, no problems. I know now.
You know now, and first thing I want to do is extend an incredible amount of gratitude, to Paul and yourself, of course, Tony, pulling this all together this morning, literally. What was it about 10? Well, it was about 10 o'clock my time this morning. We got talking with Paul, and he graciously has given us carte blanche on Critical Mass Radio, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, prime time, with Blog Talk through Critical Mass. The truth march is on. Can't shut us up for too long, eh?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, you're still playing in the background, man. We're confusing people.
Yeah, can you hear anything now?
No, can't hear it now. That's good, thank you.
That's great.
So anyway, there's a couple of things that I want to go over tonight. I had a chat with Kyler Davenport today, and he has given me a handful of talking points that are absolutely critical in terms of elderly care and the debacle that is our, senior citizens care for the seniors themselves, and not only that, the caregivers, many of which lack experience, in handling. I'm going to stick to Kyler's talking points now. Get into the full details there, but what I did want to do tonight, first off, is basically explain a little bit about what happened. There are no hard feelings from us, guys, and I need you to know that. This was something that was just waiting to happen. So I wish it had been a bit more professional than, slamming us out at 5 minutes before showtime. And then as soon as I did get rescheduled, everything was fine up until about 5 minutes before the show. Then I got it rescheduled, and no sooner did I get on the air. It's literally 22 seconds, and based on the over 500 downloads this morning that I saw in the archives, there was over 500 people that have a 22-second clip of the show last night. And what we'll do is, I'm on behalf of Deatra and Freedom Reigns, because she won't say it, but I will. I wish to apologize to all those that tuned in last night, and there were thousands that were tuned in. I know that. We had 82,000 the Friday before. So, that's not something that needs to be done to any listener, especially the ones that have been literally, and I'm not saying follow. I never say following. The ones that listeners have been working with us. Well, in my case, going on 5 years, and in your case, well over a year. So, and you've been doing actually a couple of years worth of radio. So, so I want to apologize on behalf of the listener, Freedom Reigns and Deatra, for that happening last night. It was certainly not something I would do, and I would trust that in future she may have a bit more professionalism in handling things instead of doing stuff like that, because it does no one any good. Period.
Yeah, absolutely, and totally unprofessional. But there you go. Some people do these things.
Yeah. No harm, no foul. We move on. There's no animosity or whatever. I was doing some posting on the Freedom Reigns Facebook page. Of course, I've been removed as someone who can post and put into comments, and also was in the Freedom Reigns chat room as well, just to let people know. And it's not, and I didn't want to take away from what Peter's doing on Freedom Reigns tonight, because he does a Saturday night from 7 to 9 with Freedom Reigns. So I didn't want to impinge on his show or step on his toes. It was more for an information, and I did urge people that normally listen to him to please stay on board with him. And of course, Peter and Santo and everybody are all welcome where we're at right now, and the gratitude I have for what Paul did this morning, and I mean, I'm talking. He had this radio station set up for me with tunes, disclaimers, everything, within 20 minutes of Tony and I talking to him. So this is a guy that gets stuff done. Yeah. And the intro song, new intro song. I thought it was a bit more fitting, based on the lyrics. Once people, you can get that stuff online. I posted my link many times. I will post it on Facebook as well for anyone that wants to download it to get the lyrics. But a very, very special song that I wrote many years ago. About 10 years ago or so, and recorded. I released that one in 2001 on my first solo album. So anyway, Only Hearts. Yep, only hearts like ours remain. So we are taking the hearts to the critical mass. Now, do you have the chat room available to you right now, Tony?
I do indeed, yeah, at the moment.
Okay, well, just keep me in touch with what's going on. I'm still trying to make sure that everything's stable on my computer tonight, so otherwise I'd be in there and posting away as well. But for those brand new listeners, we do have a caller calling in. Chris, I will bring Chris into the call, just because it's an open forum tonight. I do want to cover talking points from Kyler. This is critical information, and I talked this afternoon. I said I would, and I will. We have no fear. The only ones that, and generally they're the ones that the law was run away. So anyway, I'll bring Chris in. Oops, I hit that again. Unbelievable. Here we go. I'll hit it one more time. Okay. Anyway, I was just sending to all the Facebook links and whatnot, so we're good. Anyway, moving over to Chris. Don't mind me, guys. I kind of got blindsided with a beautiful, beautiful gift today, so bear with us. So, Chris, are you there?
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just lovely.
Awesome. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm very good. I hope I'm not getting any echo off of my speakers. I don't have a headset on. Are you getting anything?
No, you're fine. You've got a good angle on it. And again, if for anyone listening that calls in and doesn't have a headset, just make sure if you have a laptop or speakers, just point them away from your mic and you should be fine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say I'm glad. I'm sorry.
No, I'm asking you what's up. It's all good.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just glad that you guys made it. You made it to a new spot, because I tuned in last night and I did get the 22 seconds, and I was kind of concerned. I wasn't sure what happened, but when I read about it today, nice. It's great to see you back up and running again. So, congratulations.
Well, thank you, and you can't keep a good bitch down. Sorry.
Just in a general sense.
Yeah, well, we said it
just
last
in a general
night.
sense.
Oh yeah, I know, it's all good. And again, there's no animosity. It's all
Absolutely.
things we move along.
But Kate, I just honestly was just listening in. I really didn't have much of a comment. It's just to thank you so much for what you're doing, and great information that you're putting out there. And I just thank you so much. And I just would sit back and listen to you if that's okay.
Okay, well, awesome, Chris. I'll put you back on hold. And if you do want to come back on, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free. Get onto the criticalmassradio.com website, and there's a chat room there for everyone that's listening in tonight. So we're just
great.
This is our first night back, literally. So we're one night of growing pains, and after that, it's full steam ahead.
Sounds awesome. Much love, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Much love back. So Tony,
cheers, Chris.
So Tony. Anyway, so let me bring up the talking points from Kyler. And I know Kyler's listening in tonight, and there's a lot of big things happening where I know it's very difficult for me to try to describe what I see from my position here, but I see a lot of points coming in, very powerful points coming in, converging on the system, like from everywhere. As I was saying the other night, you've got people like, whether or not here's something I really need to get across to you guys. Whether or not I agree with something, it doesn't matter. That's someone else's perspective, and they have a role to play in the game, and who the hell am I to say what their role is? So they do what they do, and I say blessings to it, because all things for a reason. So that way we don't interfere with the free will choice. Now you've got people like Winston Shrout, Tammy Pepperman, David Wilcock. Help me out here, Tony. I got Santa Bonacci, me. The list goes on. Mark Hollywood, Jordan Maxwell, Laura Eisenhower. We all have our perspectives and our roles in the game. And, I mean, I could spend an entire show just talking about the list of people that are making a difference in the world, regardless of whether I agree with it or not. You can see what they're doing, and everything is converging. And the bottom line is this: there's only one target, and that is the system. It's coming down.
Well, this is the whole point. I just will note this for a moment because just for reference, do you remember the shows we used to do before where your voice was cracking up and it felt like it was being majorly interfered with? Well, guess what? We've got the same sort of situation again, just for reference, Kate. But, yeah, there are so many people now coming out of the closets and the deep underground military bases, the black programs, the military, the government, all the different nooks and crannies, the Masons, the Vatican, all different areas. They're all coming out and going, you want to see what's going on in here. You know, because we do need to see what's going on in here. The only way that we're going to understand what the flipping heck has happened is to be able to understand what's going on behind the scenes. Now, I've used the analogy many times. I'm going to use it again because we're on a brand new show and maybe some of the listeners aren't familiar with it. But if I pulled my car up to a mechanic's garage and I parked my car up outside, went into the office and said, "Excuse me, mate," to the mechanic, "there's someone up with my car, can you fix it?" He's going to look at me and go, "Well, hang on a minute, I don't even know what's wrong with it yet. What seems to be the trouble and what seems to be the problem?" And then I'll describe to him, well, it's got these symptoms, it's coughing, it's spluttering, it's backfiring, it won't start, it's going click when I turn the key. All these different things can be evident when I'm asked the question, what's wrong? What's wrong with the car? Why won't the car work? Well, you see, this is what happens when I try and start it. In other words, when you understand, at least basically, on a basic level, something's wrong with it, it won't work. The next question is, why won't it work? What possibly could be wrong? And that's where we come into it, because we go, well, look, something's seriously wrong here. And when we ask the question, what is it? Well, that's when the tidal wave hits you, or the lid comes off Pandora's box, because there are so many things wrong with this system. It's absolutely amazing. It's mind-boggling. It's just wrong on every level of wrong that could possibly be imagined. Everything's wrong. The sciences are wrong. Just everything. Everything we've been taught is completely and utterly screwed from the start. And it's done that way to confuse the life out of people so that nobody knows where they are. So that nobody has any light at the end of any tunnel, because we don't know we're in a tunnel and we don't know what light looks like because we've never seen it before. That's basically the analogy. It's like to confuse the living heck out of people so that they will never understand where they are, where they're going, where they've come from, what is going on, who's behind it, and how it all works. And one of the things that we've done, and we've spent decades doing this, is deconstructing all of this spaghetti puzzle, if you like, trying to find the ends. Then we take a piece out at a time and lie it next to each other so that we can see what constitutes that plate of spaghetti. How many pieces are involved, how long they are, how short they are, where the ends are, how they're put together in a great mess so that nobody can see it, but when we take it out of that plate of spaghetti, we can finally see the contents of the plate of spaghetti. So a strand at a time, we take it to pieces and then analyse it. And it's only in doing that you can finally figure out, oh my God, now I can see the picture. This is what's wrong, this is why it's wrong, this is who made it wrong in the first place, this is where it's going to lead us, and all the different pieces of that puzzle. Now that puzzle takes us everywhere you can possibly imagine, I don't need to even begin to bother listing them because it's all wrong. You know, let me give you one example. You know, we've got a Hubble space telescope that can see deep field images of galaxies out there, yet we don't know what's on the surface of the moon. You know, something wrong here, guys. You know, they're not actually telling you the truth. You know, and this goes on and on and on and on in all different levels. But anyway, that's a very brief intro as to who we are and what we do. Kate and Tony, we've worked together for, you know, at least the last year. It's a big history and there's a lot of information behind it, but we'll be spending time with you guys to break it down into digestible chunks. But yeah, so that's what it's about. You know, you're in for the ride of your lives, guys. But over to you, Kate.
Okay, yeah, just had to clear clear the air there for a sec. Absolutely, and yeah, we go back well over a year. You know, and I knew of your work prior, and that's the joy of actually being in this game and doing the amount of research that it requires. And a lot of people don't really understand the level of research that has to go into a typical show where there's a lot of responsibility. Because, I mean, here we are on the air talking about different things, and we better have a good understanding of the topic. And that's one of the things that I know you've done, and myself and Santo in particular have covered a lot of different things in a lot of different research, ranging from quantum whatever to, you know, astrotheology to religion to off-world. Yeah, it was interesting that you did mention that about the Hubble telescope. You know, you can look light years into the universe, and they can't turn the puppy over to the moon where you could literally count grains of sand on the surface. You know, so I mean, these are things that really should make people question what's going on. So I just want to do a couple of shout-outs here. Otis, love you, man. Thank you so much. Colleen, keep her going, baby. Jorge, Blake, QLP, that's Johnny Guzman. Yeah, we got. I'm going to try to stay on top of stuff. What I will suggest to people, especially for any of the new listeners that are here, that are already fans of Critical Mass Radio, you can get a hold. I make myself very accessible. You can get a hold of me on Facebook at kate.rene.5. That's KATE.RENE.5. It's not a typo. It's just I wanted to get. I didn't want to have this really long thing with putting two E's in Renee, which was what it was going to be, and it would look stupid. So I just chose the one E, and I got a really short Facebook tag, which I like, especially for being on air. For those that want to call in, by all means, the number here, I'm not sure what area code 661 is. I was going to look it up, but I don't know. But anyway, the guest call-in is 661-467-2401. That's 661-467-2401. I would suggest that you have a long-distance plan. I think Eric's going to look up the area codes to see where that is. I have to assume it's in North America based on the 3-digit number. But anyway, yeah, definitely, I just want to thank all the listeners that don't normally hear us on a Saturday night. I mean, they have in the past many times, but it's just great to be able to, you know, basically pick up where we left off last night. And I mean, we had a good chat afterwards, and it was light. And again, I can't reiterate this enough. There is no animosity. It is what it is. This is something that we wouldn't do, but that's okay, and that's fine. People have their opinions, and they have their reasons, and all things for a reason, so we move along. And based on what I've already seen transpire today, I got to tell you, all things for a reason. This is going exponential. We just had a caller clip in, so again, this is an open night, guys. So area code 501, first two numbers 58. Area code 501. 58. I'm making your mic hot. Welcome to Outside the Box / Cosmic Blueprints combo show tonight. Questions or comments?
It's just me, Tammy.
Tammy, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good to hear you. So what's on your mind?
I was just listening tonight. Unless you want to put the topic, I can go on and on and on and on.
I know you can. That's why we love you.
Has
no
everything
problem.
in your...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're cutting out quite bad now. Are you being censored?
Oh, that would be normal. I have to get the shielding around critical mass radio, it seems.
Absolutely. Soft-cell censorship is something that they rely on to let the sheeple go their own way, because if they hear a show and it's not going perfect or anything else, they'll just go find something else to do, as they're trained to do as monkeys. So we need to put a stop to this soft-cell censorship.
Well, I couldn't agree more with you, hon. I'm used to it, and all it tells me is that we're doing something right. And I know, based on the listeners we've had for, well, in my case, years, they're used to it. So the ones that have tuned in before have heard this, and yeah, it's a passing phase. They'll take their shots at it and whatever, and that's fine. We just laugh at it. It's not going to stress me out. We'll just do what we can, you know?
Absolutely. So what about all this clear and present danger we're seeing now? What do you think about this shock doctrine implications and take away our guns by putting on all these presentations and everything else? What do you think?
Oh, well, again, it's another control ploy. And the thing is, as you're well aware, with the fiction world, what they try to do is, turn everything into, well, it has to be legal or lawful or whatever, instead of just pure common sense. And you see, when you have a would-be or wannabe master, or someone who thinks they're master, they're actually more enslaved than the slaves, because anyone that thinks, oh, go ahead.
Absolutely. We've got, what we found out is you've got these courts are running on behalf of the banks. The banks are paying them 3%. 3%, Kate. And here, the federal government, the League of Nations, is taking the other 97%. Now, who's the mafia here? The federal government is coming into these courts, and they're presenting the shakedown. A while back, we were serving the U.S. Marshals in a case here in Michigan. And the minute we sent our process server in to serve the U.S. Marshal Service, guess who showed up? The FBI. The FBI showed up to tell the U.S. Marshals that they don't have to do what they're doing, we're just kooks, whatever else. But the federal government is so concerned that we're going to wake up the sheeple, we're going to wake up the local sheriffs, we're going to wake up the courts and everything else to the schematic and offer them something better. In a recent case, I just offered the judge 70% of it, any and all cut out of our fee schedule. How do you think that went? He found in our favor.
That doesn't surprise me at all. And again, when you start seeing the illusions as they unfold, and the sheer panic that people like Obama and the Queen and the Pope and the rest of these guys have, knowing that minute by minute their control is slipping away, it's actually laughable. So we just keep poking away. It's like what you're doing and what everyone else is doing in their respective field and choice of angle to take on the system. It all matters because every one of them is chipping away at the cornerstone, and that cornerstone is coming out. End of story.
Absolutely. And what does it say in the Bible? It says cornerstone's going to fall on their head. Their head, not ours. Not ours. As long as we're walking in the truth in God's Word, what happens? Pretty soon the law merchant is left wailing because there's nobody left to purchase its laws. The law merchant is just a seller of laws. How do they sell us laws? Clear and present danger doctrine, shock doctrine. They teach us that we should fear each other, hate each other based on racism or sexism or whatever else. Well, what the hell are we doing? If we hate each other, we have to purchase their laws to protect us, right? They have a really good schematic going on, but we're no longer buying into this. I'm no longer buying from the law merchant. Are you?
Oh no, I've been clean from the system for over 2 years. I got to tell you, it has not been easy.
No, but it's a beautiful freedom, isn't it? I mean, you're more free than you've ever been.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point, and it won't take many just to get into that state of mind. We did the math the other night. It takes, to clear this planet, it takes 35 fully awakened beings to do it. That's
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. And living in the truth. You know, you and I were speaking about this earlier. Everybody has to live in the truth. They have to be who they are. They can no longer be seeking to be or wanting to be or subscribing to these statutes. Statutes are statements of compulsion. Statements of compulsion pull you around. Psychologically, they pull you around, and now you want to be this, you want to be this. Man, when I grow up, I want to be this. Instead of doing that, just be. Be who you are. Be proud of who you are. Be in your own skin. Be happy in your own skin. Stop worshiping the law merchant. Stop purchasing its wares. Stop worshiping Baal and Marduk, and just be. And that pisses them off more than anything that you can ever do. You know, if you're not seeking to be, what can they sell you? You're no longer a.
You're not going to get an argument out of me. Here's a prime example. I love when you brought up the merchant aspect. I want everyone that's listening right now to take a look around where they're sitting and look at all the things that are sitting around them. And let me tell you what that is. You know what that is? That is future landfill. How much more landfill do you need to bring into your home? How much more landfill are you going to buy knowing where it's going? You know, and this is the whole backwards mentality of commercial merchant thinking, especially in an age of complete planned obsolescence, you know, where the natives have it right with, we make a choice, but we have to consider 7 generations. I mean, you can look at any car that's out there right now, you'd be lucky if it lasts a quarter of 1 generation, you know? So it's quite funny.
Yep, and everything. A television, a computer, they all have a timer set on them now. You know, we're constantly consuming. Plastic is more detrimental than anything on this planet because it keeps it going. Everything is backed. The Federal Reserve note is backed by human production. That human is backed by the petrodollar. That petrodollar is backed by gold and silver. Everything is ass backwards. Everything is counterfeit. But to back the human production value by the petrodollar is guaranteed by the human because they're purchasing plastic, an oil byproduct. You know, we're not only relying on gas and oil for our cars. Everything that people own, or the sheeple, you know, they have all these plastic toys, plastic bottles, plastic television, plastic cars now. They have plastic everything, and so they're keeping this going by being consumers. We need to get out of the consumptive mindset. You know, consumptive behavior is gravitating right into psychopathy, because now if I go around and I'm helping somebody, and if I'm doing a case or whatever, they don't look at me like I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart. They wait for the other shoe to drop, as if I'm expecting something in return. I'm not a consumer. I don't feel like being cannibalized or cannibalizing somebody else. I don't charge anything. I never have. We're not supposed to. This is supposed to be charity or light giving. You know, but in a consumer society, everybody's cannibalizing each other. What can you do for me today? What can you do for me today? What do I get out of this? That's cannibalism.
Yeah, they have us feeding on each other in more ways than one. Now, hey, are you okay to hang in for a bit? Because I got a couple of callers. I'd love to bring them in. And this is a wide open night. And I do want to go over Kyler's stuff. And I'd love your opinion as well as Tony's on it. And let's see if we can start uncovering some more of the garbage they're doing. But are you cool with hanging out for a bit?
Sure. I'm going to mute out.
Okay, awesome. Well, just jump in when you're ready. I'm going to leave your mic on my end, okay?
Okay.
Cheers, Tommy.
I do like to do on the radio. Once you're unmuted, you're in the call. So we have area code 40178. You've been on hold for about 7 minutes, so I'm going to open your line up here. And area code 40178.
Yes, here.
Hey, how's it going? Who we got?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if you remember me from Rhode Island. I live in a state where the judges are so corrupt. They feed off of giving little children back to their abusive parent, could be a woman or a man, I'm not going to discriminate, all because of the federal money that's coming into the state for the father's rights group. I have custody of my kids, but I don't know anybody in the state of Rhode Island that kept their kids, and they have these two contracted characters that are called psychologists that will do this. They interview the mother, and they play fictitious, and I'm way ahead of that spot. I've already, have been in court and have tempted the box theory. And when I've done that, it's just the look on people's eyes. I was afraid to start this because it was like, oh, I don't know, like you said, step out of the box, step in the box. And yesterday I had an incident where this woman had lost her son, which was 2, to her ex-husband, which was a sex offender. It was all federal dollars and father's rights group that come to the state, and they have to feed, that. To get that money, that's what they have to do, and she's on her 12th judge. So I said I got so sick of it, and I just, shared my experience with doing it. And she had her Air Force pension, and she worked for the U.S. Postal Service. So half her life she worked. She lost every dime of savings. She lost her son, her whole savings. And the judge attached her pension from the Air Force and Social Security disability. So I said, and we had to go down to the Department of Revenue Service yesterday and fill out all the forms that, the judge is going to attach this or she'll go to jail. And she's like, Eeyore, okay, I'll go home. And they, the dog chasing the tail. And I said, no. I'm here, and you're going to, and she did it, and oh my God, the look on, we can help you, and on and on and on, and we went out to the parking lot, didn't talk in the elevator, didn't talk anywhere, and there were people in the parking lot looking what state or what car I was in, and then I came down back to Rhode Island, and I'm going to be proud of what I'm doing. And I have this issue with, I have my cases coming up on Wednesday, and I've been trying to chase the mailman down to get these certified letters, and I said, I'm going down there, and it's very scary to do it because you don't know what's going to happen. And I think they are more afraid than I was. And I'm like, he ripped that out of my hand so fast and hit it sort of behind his back, and threw it in the, where they shred it and everything, and got me out of there so fast. He didn't want me or my conversation with him going over to the next, with clerk. And I was like, gee, creepers. But both of us, yesterday afternoon, I had to follow my daughter out of the state of Rhode Island because she was supposed to testify earlier in the week. And they denied her disability access to the court.
Caller?
Yes?
Can what we want to try and do on this one, there's lots of information there. There's lots of statements, and there's lots of questions, and lots of this has happened, and we did this, and we did that, and we did that. But what we're trying to do is trying to clarify step by step what's actually going on so that we can address individual situations. It's a great information, great story, but if we could just sort of like break it down a little bit at a time, one piece at a time, we might be able to address each piece. If that's my point.
As soon as you called in and said Rhode Island, I knew you.
Now.
No, I knew you were Patrice's friend. Because you and Patrice got going that night, it was like, okay, I'm just going to sit back. The radio show's going to run itself.
I'll sit back now. You go. But it's a great experience. That's all I can tell you, and it's all just I call it a play. It's a play.
It is. Totally, it's a play. And we have what I will do is, do you have a mute on your end?
Okay. You're breaking up.
Okay. Do you have a mute on your end?
Yes.
Okay, what I'll do, if you could mute out while you're listening, I'll leave your mic hot, and that way if you wanna pop in. Oh, Tammy, look at this, dropping stuff in my mailbox, baby. Anyway, yeah, if you just want to listen, if there's something you can add to relevancy, that'd be great. Again, and I say this to everyone, including myself, mindful of leaving breathing room for others to come in, and that way it's not just a continuous diet, you know what I mean? So we want to keep it as tight as we can. All right? It helps everyone, including me, mostly me. All right, hon? So I'm going to leave your mic open. If you want to mute on your end, we do have another caller. I want to bring them into this open call tonight. And then once I get this caller open, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to Kyler Davenport's stuff that he put together for me, and that way I can go down what he has written, and then we can discuss that, because we've got an hour and 20 minutes here, guys. So there's plenty of time, and we got lots of shows coming up. We got 7 days a week we want. So. Don't worry, there's going to be lots of opportunity for everyone to have their say, especially here. So area code 70663, area code 70663, your mic is open.
I was just wanting to listen.
Oh, you just want to listen? No problem.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll put you back.
Sir.
What's that?
Yes, that was all. I just wanted to listen. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I love to invite everyone, so no problem. I'll put you back on hold. And thanks for being here. This is awesome. I love to have people on the line. Awesome.
No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you in a little bit. I'll just put you back on hold. The joys of live radio, you know, juggling buttons here, left, right, and center. But here we go. I'm going to get into Kyler Davenport stuff, and I really want to hear what people have to say about this, because, you know, we're not looking after our elders. Well, what else is there, guys? You know, if you're not looking after the elderly, talking the ones with the wisdom, and the children, I mean, we got it so backwards, so it's time to change that. And thanks, Malika, for tagging me on Facebook. Just got your contact, so for Friend Quest. So thank you so much. So here we go. This is from Kyler Davenport, and we got lots of neat stuff coming up here. Here we go. In most cases, people are brought in right off the street to be caregivers. They have no experience at all and are given the monumental task of be put out on the floor to work directly with these very sick people. They do have some training, but it is limited to a few hours, 3 or 4, of watching videos and signing off on them as if you have retained the knowledge and information. This should be a crime, because it is killing people. Literally, guys. Now, the caregivers who learn to be in charge of giving patients their medications in most of these facilities are given no more than 4 days training and are told to go over training manuals later at their leisure. This includes passing out deadly narcotics and giving diabetic shots. I mean, we're not talking with penny ante stuff to people. This is the life and death stuff. Now, wound care teams who are specially trained in wound care are in short supply, plus they cost big money, which is something that facilities do not want to spend because it takes away from the bottom line and decreases investor return, thus profit. And you know what this system's all about? Money, money, money. That's why we got to get rid of this stuff. Now, another major problem is turnover rate. Most nursing homes, home health agencies, and residential care facilities have a 100% turnover rate because staff do not have enough help, and this causes major abuse and neglect of patients. And we've read and seen too many stories to know that that is a fact, and it is a fact that needs to become fiction. They got it backwards. Now, in many cases, caregivers will be in charge of taking care of 8 to 14 or more patients by themselves. And this, my friends, cannot be done effectively or without harming someone. Just to bring another note in there, I believe in terms of daycare up here in the fiction land of Canada, my ex was a daycare teacher, and I think they were allowed to have up to 6 children under their care, and then they had to bring someone else in. So here we're talking for people that are sick, injured, elderly, crippled, diseased, 8 to 14 or more patients per worker. That's insanity. It's no wonder they have 100% turnover. Now, caregivers taking vital signs and not completely understanding what they are taking them for, except to keep them in the patient's chart for future reference. So when someone taking a blood pressure and they don't know what it means, somebody could be dying and they wouldn't know it. That's the problem, right? Now, as many people do not know, bowel and bladder care are two of the most critical and important functions that healthcare workers, including caregivers, deal with on a daily basis. Yet this training and education has decreased to the point where it is costing Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance billions of dollars because of bowel and bladder infections that could have and should have been dealt with in the beginning stages. But due to this lack of training, patients are literally dying, suffering and costing the system incomprehensible amounts of money due to lack of knowledge in this area. Plus, in our country, that's Kyler's in the U.S., and here as well, everywhere in the world this applies. Plus, in our country, it is a very taboo subject and something people do not want to take seriously as a science. Well, I got to tell you, we take that whole side of things very seriously, because what you're dealing with there is, for anyone that's listened to our shows in the past where we talk urine therapy and the healing attributes of that, which is something that needs to be brought in anyway, but when you're dealing with people, and I've heard the stories, I had friends of mine in Nashville that were caregivers in these facilities, actually judging by the facilities that I was in when I was down there, where they were working, very well cared for, lots of staff in the building, which I'm sure is very rare. But when you have elderly people that are in, say, pens or adult diapers that are lying in their own feces or their own urine, that's a very, very dangerous thing. Never mind the discomfort. Now, another major problem we have in this country are homes pretending to be specialty care facilities for Alzheimer's and dementia patients. If anyone would take the time to do just a little bit of research, they will find that there is very little difference, if any, in so-called specialized facilities and care facilities. And we've had lots of stories up here in Canada where nightmare stories of abuse of elderly people from these privately owned caregiver, just what Kyler was outlining there, absolutely destitute. Now there's a note here from my friend. That's why they over-medicate the elderly. They don't have to spend time with them or their requests for care and attention. And this is all the abuse of the elderly. Absolutely, keep them sedated, keep them stupid, keep them down, and eventually, if they're giving enough of these medications and what have you, the patient will eventually succumb, and I'm sure someone's going to cash in on that insurance, which is quite sick as well. Now, last but not least, and thank you, Kyler, for putting this together. Thank you so much. Last but not least, for this particular run of notes, is hospice. And I know the hospice quite well. My brother-in-law passed away in one in the summer, and my dad in one in 2011. So I will say the hospice that we were at was well-funded, based on mostly donations, and it was very well supported by the community. That's rare. That I know, and in both cases with my dad and my brother-in-law, they were extremely well looked after. But again, I am really adamant about the amount of drugs that they were pumping into both of them. Quite frankly, it's sickening, and if these people knew what they were really doing and what they were pumping into the human body, they got a lot of karma to fix, I'll tell you that much. So here we go. Finish up with what Kyler had. Now, the largest portion of the healthcare dollar is spent in the last 6 months to a year of terminal illness. This scam we call hospice. Now, in my opinion, it's defrauding the healthcare consumer. They're very seldom available in most cases after the first visit. They expect you or the untrained medical aid to deliver the deadly doses of morphine as needed or not. I just discussed that, and I saw this firsthand. And they're very set in their ways on letting these patients starve to death, choke to death, or go through untold suffering without any form of relief, including oxygen or airway management. Again, the Wellington Hospice, where my dad and my brother-in-law, they were very well looked after, but of course they had the automatic machines pumping drugs into both of them all day. Okay, so finish up. Well, here you have just a very small part of what we're fighting against here. And this needs to get out, guys. We need to start caring for those that gave us life. Remember, they're the beneficiaries and the fiduciaries of their children. We're of their life. Now, we can't wait to come on the show. I can't wait to have you come on the show, Kyler, and talk about this more in depth. I know you're well researched in this, and you're right on the front lines with it. So I'm going to let you know and let all the listeners know at the first instance. I'm waiting to hear from Santo whether we're going to be hosting his show tomorrow night for him or not. And Monday, he wanted to do 2 final shows with Blog Talk because he had guests already because his schedule is going crazy and he has to take a bit of a break. Okay, so what he's saying is at that time he'll reveal some very important findings. And he had a stint as an undercover operative, advisor, consultant to one of the most prestigious news organizations in the world. I know what it is. I'll let him divulge that if he wants. And a year-long stint as the governor's agent, advisor heading up a very elite team of senior advocates. And they're all listening tonight, and I hope you are, because we're the ones that they are waiting for. So if you want to sit back on your hands and not do anything, that's your call. I told Tyler as soon as he contacted me that you can count on it, and here I am standing the post. And I'm looking forward to working with you as well. And he also has a new internet broadcast digital media syndicate. Tyler, thank you so much. There is a website that he gave me that I'd like people to take a look at. United Caregivers of America. That is all one word. www.unitedcaregiversofamerica.org. So take some time and go over there. Again, unitedcaregiversofamerica.org. And I'm really looking forward to having Tyler on. So we got all the lines open here, so guys, feel free to jump in and your thoughts and opinions.
Okay. Just a couple of comments on this. I'm not sure how my voice is coming through. Yours is really broken up, Kate. How do I sound?
You sound great. I haven't had an issue with hearing any of you guys yet.
Okay, that's fine. We're having an issue with yours, by the way, but I mean, whatever it is, but the point of the matter is it is a bit broken up and a bit fractured. But nonetheless, we're making it out not too badly. Yeah, where do you start with this one? Okay, I'm going to keep it as clean and clear and concise as possible. Cutting a long story short, for using the example of the UK and the European Union for starters, there is an insidious organisation that's working under the surface with the NHS in the case of Britain, with charitable organisations, with local administrations, with councils, county councils, with, as I say, charities on a big level, and it's got Masonic reigns, and it's got what's the words I'm looking for? Local social services and police forces, judges, lawyers, and children's law courts, all involved in the same insidious underground group. It's given the general name as you know, commonly known as common purpose, and this common purpose has got tentacles going everywhere. Now, what we're actually seeing here, just in the situation, in fact, no, it's not just in the situation, but in the situation where we've got old people that are going into care, from nursing homes to hospitals to what do they call them, mortuaries? No, hospices. Sorry. And all sorts of different areas. I mean, we've got people that are going in that aren't that bad, really. They might have a case of flu and stuff, and the way that they're being treated is completely and utterly the opposite to the ways they should be treated. In other words, they're kept in states of, you know, completely messing themselves. They're kept in states of whereby their needs aren't met. They're kept dehydrated. In a lot of cases I'm aware of, there's people with their lungs filling up with fluid that are being instructed and basically forced, even strapped down in their beds, so that they're lying down when they should actually be sitting up, so that their lungs are out of fluid, etc. And there is case after case after case of pumping chemical pharmaceutical, poisonous drugs into these people. It goes on and on and on. Cutting a long story short, this is it's genocide, basically. And it's about taking out the young, it's taking out the old and the infirm. And I mean, if you're not infirm when you go in there, you bloody see to it that you will be. And this is being done deliberately. This is not, oh, there's something up with my car, can I fix it? Somebody's been under your sodding bonnet and they've yanked all the wires out of the distributor cap. This is the actual reality that we're facing here. So I just wanted to throw that one out there. This is not happening by accident. It is happening deliberately because it's been orchestrated to happen. And the people behind it are, as always, the same people behind the rest of this. It's orchestrated and it's deliberate. I'll throw that out there for now because there's a lot more I could go into.
Okay, comments, guys. I know I'm hearing phones on mute here, so jump in.
Hi, I'm from Rhode Island again. I guess I was babbling all over the place. You said to stick to the point, and I will. It was the boxing of the signature at the Department of Revenue Service.
Oh, there we go. Now we're having some fun. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know if you caught is this mic any better? Are you guys hear me any better?
No, I can't. You're breaking up.
What else is new, right? I love it. Anyway, carry on, yeah, because we've talked in great depth with Patrice about boxing the signature, and she's had a whole lot of fun with it. So, share the story.
It's not fun. It's anxiety. It's like I'm more afraid to do it, but then when I do it, like you said, it's laughable to look at the look on their face and to get me in and out so quick. And then when I leave, people are following me, and then I hear helicopters over. And we did that. I'm just going to call her my sister because I'm not going to unveil her name. And hers was at the Department of Revenue Service, and it was her Air Force pension and her, Social Security disability checks that the judge was attaching. And I said, once you start here, you have to do this forever. And she vowed that she will. She was in the Air Force for I think 27 years or 20-something years, and I had to do it here in Rhode Island at the post office because I had to chase the mail truck down, and I went down with my red pen in hand, and he ripped that out of my hand so fast, and his eyes got so big, and the clerk looked at him, and it was almost like they were going to pass out. And they got me in so quick, so fast, and now, I said, thank you very much for your honest service, and, and I went on my merry way. But but the helicopters that are going over, I guess I'm being followed or whatever. I'm just going about my life, and I don't want any more plays going on in my life. If you could.
Well, that's the problem with being in the truth movement. The awakening of the rest of our kindred humankind. Hopefully, they are starting to get it. But interesting you mentioned that, and I would like Tony. You might want to jump in here with your experience with Black Ops helicopters and whatnot.
Yeah, well, same sort of thing. I released some information to Sky TV and Edge Media, and it went out public. Obviously, they can't vet every single thing that goes out, and this one got through the net. The information that I went out public with was stuff that's been held for thousands of years in secret, and basically for the privilege I got MIB, basically military helicopters, black military helicopters with military written in big capital letters on the side, hovering over the work, and all my work colleagues coming out of work going, bloody hell, what's going on, panic everywhere, and I'm sitting there going, holy shit, sort of like, and that was precisely what they were trying to do, which was scare me to shut me up. And then additionally, over and above that, I've got all the witnesses that were there that can all vouch for that because they all saw it. And over and above that, one particular time I was travelling down an A road and I was approached at least 130 miles an hour from a car behind me, a black Jaguar type, Mercedes type thing. And it just come flying up absolutely behind me. I swerved out of the fast lane so that it wouldn't hit me. It slammed on the brakes behind me, ducked in behind, right directly behind my car, hovered there for about, I don't know, 30 seconds, about 40 seconds to a minute, then slowly pulled out into the fast lane and cruised right alongside me, staring me out through the driver's window, and then pulled in front of me, slammed his brakes on where I slammed on my brakes. In other words, he was giving me a knock and saying, we're watching you, everything you're doing, everything you're saying, you know, it's in your face. We're watching you. You know, you can't make this stuff up, and you certainly can't mistake it for any other coincidence. And then basically he pulled out into the fast lane and floored it and disappeared off into the road ahead. So yeah, I've had this sort of situation myself. You know, it's much more than that. That's just
it is wow, because after we went back to my friend's house, and I didn't, because I'm minding my own business. I'm just living my life. I walk my dogs. I cook supper for my kids, and you know, and she said, you didn't see it last night? And I was sitting at her desk, and I said, no, what? She said, there was one hovering in her field, and she saw the landing lights. That's how close it was.
Mm.
And I, you know, again, oh well. And I'm always aware of my environment. Always, always, always. Always, always, always. Always have been, always will.
Mm. Yeah, totally. But like
I hear them all the time, though. And when I'm talking to my friend, and I'll just call her P, it's as soon as we get on the internet or chat, or I'll hear them, or she'll hear them, or, you know, it's very odd. Not very odd, I know what it is, but that's okay. Like I said, I'm just, you know, living.
Mm. Yeah, just don't let them put you off, that's the point. You're out
right,
there
exactly. No, there's nothing will scare me anymore. Well, like I said, they look more frightened than I do.
Yeah, well, they are. That's the point. Because, you know, it's taken thousands of years to put this whole situation into practice. And all it takes is a few sparks to set the whole barn on fire. And that's what they're frightened of. And I've got a lighter. And a blowtorch.
Right. And I just wanted to comment on the elderly patients being drugged, and it's exactly what's happening. I worked in the mental health field for almost 2 years, and they're drugging the very young. They have psychologists in the schools, and they're drugging the very old. And there's an excellent site, and if you can look at it, Google it, and it's called Citizens Commission on Human Rights, and it's in California, and it's a huge, and that's all they do is psychiatric. They're watchdogs for people that are being heavily medicated, like the people who can't advocate for themselves, the very young, the very old.
Mm. Well, the idea is that they take the old out of the equation, they cash in their Sescovy accounts, and basically take all the money out of their Sescovy accounts. And the very young, they indoctrinate them and put them on psycho drugs and get them out of their face and totally and utterly indoctrinated, if not other things. But basically, the next particular step that they're aiming for is activating other FEMA camps and etc. and taking out the middle areas, which are the common people. This is one of the drives why they're going after the guns in the States and why they set up another false flag called Sandy Hook. Again, all of these things that have gone before are all false flags. There's been many people said it in the past, and they were absolutely correct. You know, the whole world is but a stage. In other words, all this stuff is staged out and played out. And it's only by the astuteness of the people that can break the social programming and break the mind control that they've got on every single area you can look. It's in TVs, it's in media, it's in films, it's in, you know, it's in the newspapers, it's everywhere. You can't walk down the street without seeing adverts that aren't subliminally tuned to get you to go and buy things, you know. I mean, oh my God, I was talking to somebody about this tonight, But most people don't see it. They just walk straight past it and they never give it a second thought. Why do little girls dress in pink? It's a simple question. But until you've done some research, you don't understand the magnitude of the psychology. I was listening to a particular guy who was a reformed Satanist, and he was talking about, his name's Mark Passio, and he went to investigate this stuff, and when he learned what was going on, he was absolutely horrified. And he said, no, for God's sake, people have got to realise this stuff. And, cutting a long story short, the answer to the question is because it's the colour of the female genitalia. And basically, this is why the whole of society is geared towards little boys reading Action Man, which is produced by the Ministry of Defence, guns, army, blowing shit up all the time. You know what I'm saying? And all the video games are doing that sort of thing, while the girls are sexualised, and they don't even know it. The parents don't know it. The children don't know it. Society in general doesn't know it. But this is the point. It's how this subliminal colours and everything is geared towards mind control on a massive level. It's awesome. The magnitude of it is so incredible. It's mind-boggling. But yeah, until you've looked into this stuff, you wouldn't think of that, But
no,
looking at it from their point of view, it's like, oh my God, of course I can see it now. When somebody's pointed it out to you, it's like, holy cow, it's right in front of me. It's incredible. But yes, it's a complete mind control situation. But it's the magnitude of that, because that's only the beginning of it. We need to understand the reality of all sorts of different things, from science, from religions, from who we are, where we've come from, where we're going, who's doing what, who's in charge, what's money all about, what's this construct, what's that, what's the legal system, what's the birth certificate, what's ecclesiastical, what's, and understanding all of these different aspects before you can literally get through the fog and try and make sense of the world that you've just come to realise is there. It's awesome. It takes
so long, and I'm just grateful for people like you because you listen to you and Pete, and it's like, yeah, sure, right. But once you start putting it into practice, and then you hear and look at their reaction, and like I said, I worked in the mental health field, and seeing the drugging of these little kids that are 4 years old, highly, highly addictive psychiatric drugs, Adderall, because Johnny won't sit still in his seat. The teacher sends them to the psychologist, and the mothers and the fathers are, oh, okay, you know better than I do, and they just sign the paper.
Exactly. This is the point, because we've all been convinced to give our power away and to acquiesce to those who we perceive to be our peers. But we perceived wrong, you see. That's the point. We thought that was the case, but when you actually look at each individual piece of that puzzle, you find it's the opposite. It's not just slightly wrong. It's not just, he's got this bit wrong. The whole flipping thing is wrong. It's in completely the opposite. If they say go left, you need to go right. And if they say to go left, you need to look what's over in the left before you go anywhere. You see what I'm saying? And what you will find is it's in the opposite direction as what they're telling you. Crikey.
Well, it's the bait and switch. It's standard operating procedure for these guys. They want you looking 180 degrees from where you need to be. It's like when a bank says invest here, not that you would.
You go elsewhere.
Bank says invest here, you go there. No, that's how it works. I'm just going to let Chris know that if I'm going to open your mic up, Chris, if you want to jump in. If you could just mute yourself on Skype on your end. If you want to jump in, great. If not, at least you have the option. I just want the phone lines open here. So, Chris, your mic is going hot. We have another caller in as well at area code.
Great, thanks.
There you go. There he is. Area code 630-36. Open up your phone line there. Area code 630-36 for any questions or comments. Your mic is going hot now. There it is. Questions, comments? Your phone line there. Area code 630. Oh, nope, they're gone. Anyway, all the phone. By the way, everyone that's dialed into the show, all your phone lines are open, and someone has got their speakers on, if they could kind of just maybe angle them away a little bit, we're getting a bit of feedback, or mute out on your end. I'm leaving your mic hot on this end. Anyway, carry on, guys. You're covering this beautifully.
Okay, Chris, you're with us, yeah?
Yeah, I am. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. I'm Tony. Pleased to meet you, mate.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just shocked at listening to you were talking about that's shocking to me. I'm curious is how people could actually benefit from that by having a job and going to work every day and thinking that they're doing something worth making money for in that circumstance. It's shocking to me. I don't mean to. I'm sorry, I don't have anything to contribute, but my awe.
Oh no, that's the biggest contribution of all, and what we need people to start doing is going, that's not okay anymore. And Echo 630 just called back in, so I'm going to open the mic up just in case they hung up thinking that they weren't going to get on. So area code 630. 36. If you just want to listen, just let me know. I'll put you back on hold. But put your mic, make your mic hot. So if you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear them. Area code 63036. Your mic is now hot. Questions or comments, or are you just listening?
Hi.
Hello.
Are you there?
Oh, we're here. How are you, hon?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good. Are you shocked you get on the air or something?
Yeah, totally.
Welcome to our club. We have a wide open table. That's the rules. Everyone comes to this dinner table. We all get to eat. How it works.
Yeah. We just really love what you have to say. It's very motivational. Yeah. Well, we just really love it.
Well, that's what we need to have, guys, and this is what it boils down to. You know, if this is the only role that I'm meant to play as far as getting word out there, letting people know that they have to stop taking the shit from everybody, then I feel worthwhile having lived. And that really is the bottom line. And Rhode Island, what you've been talking about, there is a lot of fear whenever you're dealing with Goonies, especially the ignorant, the willfully ignorant ones. You know, their ignorance is one thing. This is my next essay, by the way. It's called Master or Slave or Both, which they are both. But there are those that are ignorant of the truth and of the way things are really meant to be, and there are those that are willfully ignorant, unwilling to learn, and those that are actually in the knowing and are willfully harming others, especially our young and our elderly. You know, we got to stand.
That's the majority right there. Right there.
Right.
And then, because I'm the only one that has, like, stood up and opened my mouth and said, no, you're not going to do this, I'm the crazy one. I have people that have come into my life, okay, because I'm not originally from Rhode Island, so I'm a newbie here, a newbie being 6 years. But it's very, very difficult to form any relationship. And I'm from a county where the primary, there are so many lawyers making hundreds of thousands of dollars off of these children, and these girls or women that are domestically violated or raped or sexually, or their kids are being, go to the domestic violence shelter, which is a feeding ground for referrals for these women. They pick and choose downstairs. They tell you, oh, everything here is going to be confidential, and then they introduce you to a free legal person. Well, if you have to run from your house with the clothes on your back and go into a shelter, a free legal person is like golden to you in your mind. And that person, that free legal person, will pick and choose, handpick who has the money downstairs. What woman, what child are worth a lot of money, and then they will represent them for free.
Yeah, and they'll tax the bonds as well, right? This is just something else people need to know.
Everything is set up, and, you know, I didn't know this, and it took me years to figure it out, and I had a gag order put on me when I was getting a divorce, and my kids had to reunify with their sex offender, their father. They put a gag order on me, and they couldn't shut me up. There's no way. You can't take my voice because that's abuse. And I kept going and going and going, and, you know, there were times that I almost died.
I just want to jump in on something. I need people to get the concept here. Do you know what a gag order is? It's a piece of paper that makes an awesome paper airplane. You can light on.
That's right. For me, it was.
And this is exactly the point I'm trying to get across to people. And I have to go back to Vin, back in my days at TNS Radio. He had a perfect way of describing paper. He would ask someone, what does the paper say? And they said, well, it says, no, it doesn't. You did. The paper can't talk, you moron. And the minute you have to take, and the minute you have to take a piece of paper as some sort of power over you, put it in the shredder where it belongs. That's where the fiction world is. It's on paper. The footprint on the deedpoll is a piece of paper. It is a concept that people still buy into.
Absolutely.
No more.
Yep.
No more. And guys, I mean, I just want to share one more little thing that I want you to carry on. You guys are just going to town here. I'm loving it. Here's something that everybody can do, and whether it does anything or not in terms of physical reactions or whatever, that is irrelevant. I don't deal in the mundane physical. I prefer to take people into the higher planes of ethereal intention. What I want everyone to start doing is carrying that magical red pen around with them, and every time you see one of those Federal Reserve notes, right, their debt notes that the Fed Reserve is actually liable for, what I want you to start doing is just box the signatures on it. Now, whether it does anything in the physical sense is irrelevant. What you have done is you have finally shown your own defiance. You have changed your paradigm. You have changed your intent. Just do it. You'll feel better in the morning. Take two $20 bills, box them with red, the signatures with red. Call me in the. You'll feel better.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh boy. Oh,
that's great. Can I ask a question?
I just have to tell you one other thing. When we were filling out those DOR and she was boxing her signature, we brought a blue pen, and I said, you get those black pens out of your case that, you know, I call her Eeyore because everything is okay, and she goes home. I said, you get those damn things out of your briefcase, and you put blue ones in there or red ones, and that's all you carry. Well, when she signed her name and boxed it in blue, the lady looked and said, you have to sign it in black. And I looked at my friend, and I said, no, you don't. I have to go talk to legal. So she went back to legal, I don't know, behind the curtain, you know, because she disappeared, and she came back, I guess it's okay. Now, I said to my friend after we got into the parking lot, when you live in a damn state that tells you what color you can sign your name in, run.
Good point. Yeah, absolutely, great point. Chris, don't be shy, my friend. Just jump in.
Sure.
Here's my favorite question. When someone says to me, "Can I ask you a question?" You just did. So just ask the question or jump in. Okay. So
I just didn't want to interrupt anybody. I was just going to ask. I was going to ask regarding the pen if it has to be a red pen. I was unaware.
Well, I will share this with people in terms of the legal, lawful straw man fiction world. One of the things that makes them react is when you're writing in red, which is the only pen I use, it signifies life, blood. And blue signifies admiralty, and black signifies death. So again, by using and choosing the color of pen that you want to write with, you have changed your mind, your paradigm. You have changed your intention. That's where the magic exists. It doesn't exist in this place that we live. This is the result of the magic of what I'm talking about. You become the wizard.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, speaking of magic, I just recently saw an interview talking about real-life magic and how the supernatural exists by the fact that we're put under a spell when a human being writes something down on a piece of paper and the rest of society or the rest of humanity follows along with that. Then we're all under that spell. So really we are under the spell of our equals and have been for our entire lives. It's shocking to me.
Now you know why I deal in the ethereal. I don't deal in the physical mundane. You change your intent with what you are putting down. You see, as I've explained it many times in the past, I'm going to go over it again tonight because this is, for me, one of the most critical things. When you decide to write something, you've already had the thought. You see, the thought comes before. The intent comes before any physical manifestation. And remember this as well. When you speak of a manifest, I covered this on the webinar Thursday night a little bit. I do webinars on Thursday nights. Now, a manifest. What is a manifest? If you talk to someone on a ship or that has a transport truck, whatever, when you ask them what is a manifest, they will tell you, well, it's a list of items that I have on my ship or on my truck. So what are we actually doing when we're manifesting? Well, you see, you have to create your list first. Would you create your manifest list first? Then you put your intention behind it. Everyone's been doing it backwards. This is how we manifest. We create our list, and we do it with the intention of not trespassing on free will choice. And that's very easy to do. And that, in and of itself, is another paradigm shift. I'm trying to get people off this earthly plane into the creation realms of where we're supposed to be. We change our mind, we change our universe. It's not we change our pen and we change our universe. No, we change our mind and we change our universe. So it's just a few points to keep in mind. You're gods, get over it. Start acting like them. You know?
Absolutely. That's amazing. That's outstanding. So every time you sign a signature, you box your signature?
Well, if I was to ever do that again, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. If you, what people don't understand the legal, just to clarify this, any piece of paper that has a box on it, including the $1 bill, Federal Reserve note that you guys have, everything that's on it is lifted off the paper. So what you're doing is you're removing your signature from that document. That's why they panic, because they can't monetize it. And another thing, too, if you ever go to sign something and there's an X on the line, refuse to sign it. Give me another contract. I know where to sign. I don't need the X. Okay? And I'll tell you why. Because the X denotes non-determined. Then they can instigate the bullshit of UCC 3-419, which is the accommodating party, which says that you're going to host all the parties that they're going to plan, and you're going to pay for them through your bond. That's what they mean by hypothecation of a signature. So when you box it, you stop that, and if there's an X on it, you get them to give you another one, and I'd read the contract twice anyway, but give you another one, and do not put an X there, because I know what it means, and you're not going to rip me off.
Wow.
You already are by contract, so let's get real here, guys.
Is boxing it the same as putting, like, all rights reserved, or is that not even something you would do?
Sorry, again, I missed a bit of that.
I heard that if you wrote your signature and wrote all rights reserved beside it, that you wouldn't be able to monetize it. Is that not true, or I'm just...
No, again, as soon as an intensive signature is placed on a document at all, if you're not fully aware of what you're doing, they'll monetize it with every sleight of hand you can imagine. So
you have to remove it.
Right. Remove it, get it off the page.
Right.
And they know what that means.
Well, that's great to know. Thanks.
All right, that's what we're here for. We'll give you as much information as we can, But most importantly, everyone listening, and everyone on the call here right now, everyone listening, the most important thing is for you to change your intent. Make this decision yours, not someone else's because someone else says so. You're buying into their illusion, their drama. I don't pull that shit. I don't buy it.
Exactly. The woman on the post office, for example, say, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that." No, you can do that. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. But the fact of the matter is, she's been told, it's like the doctor, "Oh, well, if you've got a headache, you've got to take this pill." Well, why have I got to take it? Well, because I've been trained that's the one you take when you've got a headache. Well, I'm sorry, I don't want the pill. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just because they've been trained that way that they're the dumbass people carrying it out. You're actually the ones with brain cells that are actually calling it into question. It's the opposite.
Yeah, the only answer I would give on that, Tony, if someone said to me, "You can't do that," I said, "Well, I just did, stupid." Don't tell me what I can't do. No? Go ahead. I'd love to hear it.
My mother's 90 years old, and her physician is trying to talk her into having a colonoscopy. And my mother's like 4 feet tall, Italian, and she looked at him and she said, I don't live in Nazi Germany. I said, what? She said, I have lived 90 years without any procedure like that, and I will not consent to anything like that, just like that. And he got so upset. Well, you should have one. This is what they recommend. I'm not doing it. She said, what will happen? Well, a 90-year-old you put under, or they give you, they highly medicate you. She is high risk right from the get-go. Then you put that, 5 foot, whatever length it is, with these little clippers on the end of it with a scope, and you go, whoops, sorry, we just clipped something, and it's, the colon is very thin there. She could be bleeding internally, have to go to emergency surgery, and she said, absolutely not. I will not have that done. And he was like, oh, my. She stood up to him, and she has all her life stood up to people like that. You will not.
That's the way it should be. That is the way it should be, and people, you can take a valuable lesson as to why we need to take care of our elderly, because some of them have their shit together and are standing and will stand. I do have another caller, by the way, on Skype, unknown. I'm going to bring them into the call and see what they have to say. Oh, they just bolted. Interesting. Anyway, it's always fun on our shows. But anyway, yeah, carry on, guys.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I work in a little music store in a little area of southwestern Ontario, and around me, within walking distance, within 5 minutes, there are 6 pharmacies. I have elderly people constantly coming and going, walking into these places. It's if you want to get into a lucrative business, get into the pharmaceutical business. They pump the commercials on the TVs during the news. These guys are getting primetime hours. It seems to be a total industry of just making people sicker and sicker and feeding that machine. I just when you start seeing that, so many places that like I said, there's probably at least six places within walking distance that are all pharmacies, and it's shocking to me. Well, sorry, I don't mean to be shocked all day here.
No, that's fine. That's Farmageddon. What music store do you work at? I'm a musician. I guess you knew that.
Yeah, that's called Tecumseh Music in Windsor, Ontario.
Yep, very cool. Awesome. I love talking to fellow musical types. That's awesome. I love talking to everybody, but, hey, I got a little partiality with musicians. For sure. But, no, it's true, though, Chris. You're absolutely right. When you stop and just take a drive down the street or take a walk around your local neighborhood, and never mind the Shoppers Drug Marts and the rest of these places that built around the pharmaceutical industry. That's why we call it Farmageddon. There is such a vested interest in that. And here's the other thing. You talked about the advertising on TV. You'll hear them advertise a drug. This will take care of this. And then they list about 40 different potential problems you're going to have with it to remove any potentiality of a lawsuit. And honestly, guys, if you're going to put something in your mouth that might cause blindness, you've got issues. You've got some serious, serious issues. And you got to learn how to eat right.
Yeah, you rely on these doctors, and they tell you have to go and do this, and nobody, you just assume, you take that appeal to authority. Okay, well, the guys told me to do it, I'm going to do it. And,
well, there's your problem.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the point. Stop giving over your power. This is the whole point. It's like vaccines. Can you tell me any ingredients of a vaccine?
Death.
Well, that's the amazing thing. I just want to take a quick commercial break here for Critical Mass Radio. I haven't heard these yet, and I want to hear them. So just give me a second here. We got Critical Mass Radio 2. It's only 4 seconds. We got mission. Oh, here's the mission jingle. So let's share the mission jingle that Paul so kindly put here. So it's 1 minute long, and we have about half an hour, just over half an hour left, and we got lots more to talk about. So for 1 minute, here we go.
Critical Mass Radio is a completely non-profit station where the hosts pay to broadcast their shows. The mission of the station is to get as much information as possible out to people about the world we live in. unite like-minded people and to try to come up with workable solutions. If you agree with the work that we are doing, then please feel free to help us continue by making a donation on the webpage. CMR is for people who want answers, because now it is our turn.
Yes, and that's
Sorry
over.
about that, guys. It sounds like our kind of mission, huh? Oh, it's beautiful. Again, I do want to hand kudos and gratitude out to Paul and the Critical Mass Radio team for giving us this platform in such short notice and complete carte blanche. So outside the box and Cosmic Blueprints and Syncretism will remain live on the air for you guys, because, listen, we're not doing this for us. Trust me. We're doing it. Well, we are, actually, because here's the thing. If we can, not if, when we wake people up, we're only helping ourselves. So we do this with completely selfish intent. Fair enough?
Yeah, well, this is the point. If people realised what the magnitude of the information that we're bringing to this thing, they'd realise how we can turn it round in next to zero time, you know? If people started just listening to the information, spreading the information, it'll go up like wildfire. And the second that we start doing that, the second we free ourselves. Again, we've heard it all before, but the truth will set you free, you know? And we've only just begun on the magnitude of what the actual truth is, you know? And, you know, you can start with pharmacy for a start. All the pharmaceutical industry is complete and utter bunk. You know, it's completely the opposite to what you actually think it was. So it's like dentistry. You know, they're putting amalgams and, you know, mercury-based fillings in your mouth, so every time you're chewing on it, you're getting cyanide gas. I mean, God's sake. But you need to look into these things one at a time first. But don't trust anything that you've been told. You know, go and do your own research. I mean, it's as simple as that. If somebody tells you something, you might go, no, you're joking. Which is exactly the same bloody response that I had. When I started looking, I went, don't be daft. They wouldn't do that. You know? I swear to God I did. I was like, no, don't be stupid. But it's just the fact of you look and you go, no, this can't be right. And you look deeper and deeper and you go, oh my God. You know, it was completely the opposite to what I believed before I looked. It's that simple.
And it is that simple. It really is, guys. I was going to say there, but yeah, this is one of the reasons why I love having these open forums, because it gives people a chance. And this is why when I do it all the time, you know, people get a hold of me. I always bitch about it too because I was busy, but that's okay. Let me bitch. We make, Tony, myself, Santo, all of us make ourselves so available because we know there are, it is needed. People need to know that, you know, you can have typical, I'll tell you what, call up Alex Jones and see if you can get him on the line. And this is when people start, you know, that have, you know, access to the public in terms of broadcasting, if they can't make themselves available, then they're not, that's self-serving. So the one point I want to make with regards to the awakening, we did the math. One awakened being has the power to awaken 200 million. I got half of North America covered. Okay, that's why we need literally. I'm putting this in real terms, guys. It's not that big a deal. We need 35 people on this planet awake just to change it all, and it's changing. It's changing big time. And the unknown caller called back. So Tony, go ahead. I'll bring on this. I'll open it up right now. Unknown Skype caller. Line is now open. Thank you for calling back. Are you there?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's up?
It's Adam. How are you, Kate?
Adam, how are you, my friend? I'm so glad you called in.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys. First question is, what the hell happened yesterday?
Well, we talked a bit about that. I
missed the first half of the show.
Oh, yeah, no problem. It's a very short snippet. There were some ongoing personal issues that some people just, you know, let go of, And it culminated in, I'll be blunt, a hissy fit last night, 5 minutes before the show, where the show magically unscheduled itself 5 minutes before showtime. I went back and rescheduled it, because, being a host, I have that accessibility. And I rescheduled it, got the show online with literally 30 seconds to spare, got the Skype up and going. The intro song started, and then I watched the end episode button get clicked, and that would be the outro. It is what it is. It was, for me, and again, I'm not going to be derogatory here. People will do what they're going to do because they have their own reasons. That's not something I would do. And if you did have a problem with someone, take it up with them. At least try to confront it.
Can I interrupt you, please? Do you know what this signifies? This signifies that you are indeed reaching a critical mass platform.
Yeah, it's just a coincidence we're on critical mass. I thought of that today. I thought, great, here we are finally. And that was actually the deciding factor for the intro song, Only Hearts, because it factors in with the Only Hearts are now the critical mass. So our hearts are finally being the brain instead of that ego that's stuck between your ears. So, yeah, you're right, Adam. Absolutely. That was the same thing I thought. Cool.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is, now that we have reached this platform, I'm sure a lot of listeners are wondering, as I am, how many people in actuality are actually listening to this radio show at the current moment?
Well, I can tell you after the show, because I don't like overloading my computer too much. But typically last Friday, a week ago Friday, with Tony's show, Cosmic Blueprints, we had 2,800 tuned in. So what happened last night was a complete insult to many thousands of listeners. I will tell you that much.
Totally.
Okay, sorry. I didn't hear the figure. What was the figure?
82,800.
Okay, and presently tonight, how many people are roughly listening to this broadcast?
That's what I was saying. Is it's very difficult for me to bring it up. It's just I don't want to overload the computer, but what I will do, because you're in the Skype rooms with us, and by the way, you can tag me on Skype as well. I'd love to have you at Katie.Renee.Thompson. That's KATIE.RENEE.THOMPSON. My tagline that I use, my Skype name is Cygnus Trumpet. CYGNUS Trumpets. Cygnus Trumpets. So get a hold of me there. But Adam, I'll let you know right afterwards, and chances are we'll be on the air tomorrow night again at the same time, and I will air that as well. But we do try to keep people in the know as to the difference that you, the listeners, are making by showing up. Like, I'll tell you right now, 80,000 people. We've actually had our highest night was 132,000. So we were averaging when we ended the remains last night between 50 and 70,000 per episode. So that's some serious listenership, guys. You are making the difference. It's not us, and that's why I want the platform open, so that I want you, the listener, to know that you can call in, and I will take your call, and we'll listen to what you have to say, because guess what? We're you, and you're us.
Okay.
There's nothing special about us.
No. It's very special, Kate, because a lot of the listeners are asking themselves, as I am, what the hell happened? What does all of this mean? And what we can do about it?
Well, as Kate just said, what happened was somebody decided to axe the show. We've written an article basically putting all the information as to what happened. It's now been posted onto the chat room, which is there. It says what happened last night, and there's an article there. You can go there and read what happened last night. So there's that information, and basically it leads on to what's happened to get us here tonight, which is the second article. Synchronicity goes critical mass, and that's the culmination of the show that you're listening to right now. So we've got off the old platform, we've got onto a new platform, and we're loud and proud about it.
Okay, I apologize for my perhaps very stern tone of voice, but I'm very concerned. on the other hand, I'm very I'm not surprised at all why this happened. You guys reached a critical mass radio number in terms of listeners, and for some reason or another, I'm not going to blame other sides because I don't play sides in the first place. That's one thing that you guys have done your job. The other side has to do theirs. And we have to somehow, move along. So we're moving along. We've reached this platform, which is actually incredible because most beginning platforms do not get to this level. That's why I called in, because the ideology behind all of this is what's going to happen next. And you guys are the trendsetters. You guys are the pioneers of something completely repetitive that's been happening over centuries, eons.
Yeah, I can agree with Thor. And
listen, guys,
I agree.
Because this is all repetitive in its own nature. If anything is changed, is one thing needs to stop. One side needs to blame the other side for anything that happens. And once we cross over that threshold, no one's going to be so threatened by nobody. So basically, we have crossed that threshold. You guys have basically somehow miraculously, and I give you so much credit for this. Give credit where credit is due. That's the golden ratio. Okay, no side can blame the other side for giving credit where credit is due. Okay, now we have reached critical mass radio listeners, subscribers via the internet. And a lot of us are wondering what's going to happen next. Everybody wants to call in and express their inner truth. Because we're all concerned. We all want a better world. We all want safety. We're all concerned for each other's safety. We all love one another. And we don't want anyone else parting from this realm of existence unfair. I love you guys. You guys are all brilliant. You're all setting a trend that, again, is repeating itself in the consciousness of the quantum consciousness mechanics. This is all repeating itself as I speak. But again, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to complain and blame it on mediocre, quote-unquote, people? We can't do that, guys.
Adam, let me address that because you're hitting the key points here. One of the things that I've made this very clear, I was even in the chat room on Freedom Reigns, wishing Peter well tonight on his show, and that anyone that normally listens to his show, I urge them to stay and listen. This has got nothing to do with personalities or whatever. Peter normally does we'll promote him left, right, and center after 4 on Freedom Reigns, and I've already told him he's more than welcome to, if he wants to do more, come over with us. We have the availability to help him out that way as well. The bottom line is this is not about me, this is not about you, this is about truth. This is the self-evident stuff that we've been talking about, and there is no way. I mean, I wish you'd have been in on the call last night. We had Pulsar in right after all this went down last night, and it was quite a giggle, eh, Tony?
Yeah, just a lot. Totally out of the blue.
You know, it was totally expected, and I mean, I already had the intuitive based on a couple of things, or one post that was made early in the day. I had the board open all day, basically, to make sure that I had the board open. To get on the air, because I had a funny feeling something was going to go down, and gosh darn if it didn't. So, but again, this is not about personalities. I'm not going to bash anybody. You know, again, I will give it the same 2 questions I always give. Is that something I would do, or is that something I would not do? And what happened last night is not something I would do to anyone. If I have an issue with you, I'll tell you. Well, that's probably one of the reasons why I'm a love or hate type. You know, people either love my blatancy, and I don't pull any punches, but at least they know when they come to Outside the Box or Cosmic Blueprints or Syncretism or to the website Syncrenicity.com, they know what they're going to get is unequivocal truth from the heart, all bullshit aside. Agree with it or not, it doesn't matter. I'm here to learn too. You know, hey, if I was perfect, you wouldn't be hearing me on the air. I'd be somewhere else in the ether. Trust me. a good point.
Okay, fair enough. But well, regardless, you guys have reached a pivotal moment, and I congratulate you for that. Again, I give you credit because give credit where credit is due. And regardless, thank you very much for what you do, for who you guys are. Anyone who speaks the truth and for truth intelligently has my complete and utter support. If this platform fails, believe me not, I will move on to another platform with you.
No, yeah, I mean,
excuse me, because again, that will signify to me that you have reached another platform. And
well,
that's the way
exactly. That's exactly it.
We're not playing the fairly game.
Whoever speaks the truth will only gain another truth. And you guys have gained another truth. And that's all it is. So I congratulate you. I thank you with all my heart. You guys are wonderful people. Continue broadcasting. Continue, putting together magnificent programs for people out there who are otherwise occupied by other means of personal doings. In the meantime, you guys should be utterly thanked for what you do. And that's why I called it to congratulate you guys. You guys are doing a wonderful job. There's, with other people's support, I'm sure other people are seeing the same thing as I have. So I'm doing my due diligence tonight. I'm not blaming other side for doing whatever they're doing. I'm calling in tonight to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being an exemplary champions of defenders of the truth. Thank you very much. I love you.
Well said. Well said. That was excellent.
Thank you, Adam. Yeah, absolutely. And at the risk of actually developing an ego, I'm just going to humbly say thank you. Don't want to be risking that crap, but I'll put it in perspective for you. And this is how easy it is for me. And Tony's been through the mill too. But here's how easy it is for me. I was back in March. I was 28 days in solitary, and we're talking about a soul raping of soul rapings, based on me actually exposing the bank frauds. And I got out on a Friday, and I was on the air Monday morning. So this is nothing. This is nothing. That's why we were giggling last night, thinking, okay, well, the next step is that's one door closed, the next door opens, and it's always been that way. Adam, we're so correct. And yeah, we follow the universal yellow brick road. The invisible wizard is watching and is steering us, and all we're trying to do is follow that road as closely as we can. The way is narrow, and there is no deviation. And that's why you guys are here. Give yourselves credit. This is the thing that you need to understand as you're as important as a host, guys, because we're sharing the same ideas. A show is not a show without listeners, so you out there listening are the critical mass. We're just the mouthpieces. And we're going to try to share what we have uncovered. And when you guys show up on the air with us, you're helping to put that in perspective as well. And I get a chance to learn because that's why I'm here. So you want to talk about credit due? Absolutely. I'm going to flow that equal mirror to each and every one that is tuned in right now, because you matter equally. Because without you, we don't have a show. That's as simple as that. And I do want to do a quick shout out because I just this intuitive that Terry and Mary are dialed in tonight. So I just want to send out a big I love you guys and thank you so much. So and everybody else, I don't want to play favorites here, but sometimes I have to. Anyway, so carry on. Tony, Adam, Chris, Rhode Island, area code 706. Jump all over it. Excuse me. It's cold out here. I get better reception though.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we just want to carry on from what we were talking about earlier on. It was all about we've been totally indoctrinated to think that we should believe people in white coats, which is fine until the point where you begin to wake up and realise, well, okay, now I'm starting to look into medicine. I'm starting to look into other aspects such as oils, such as vitamins, minerals, nutrients, clean water. Lack of pesticides, lack of poisons, lack of GMOs, chemtrails, all these different things, and you start to realise, well, my God, no wonder we're ill because of what we're eating. And then when we get ill, we go to the doctor and we get more poisons, which are chemical craps. And then when something else goes wrong, we get some more chemicals, and that's the point. But what I'm trying to identify here is the reason that we're ill in the first place is because of the crap. So all we need to do is replace the crap and put in some good stuff, and it'll be cool, because you can just correct things and put them right again. As soon as you know what's wrong with the car, you can fix it. If you never know what's wrong, you can't fix it.
Yeah, Eric just got out the champagne, and we're going to have champagne and popcorn. What I quickly want to add on top of that, Tony, is celebrating our first show with Critical Mass. Adam, I'm going to take you on that couple of days, hanging out. That would be awesome. You have the cure within everyone. With everything you just described there, GMOs, chemtrails, all the rest of it, you have the cure within you. And it is the only thing that is absolutely and only meant for your body. And it's something that I got to tell you, I had gray hair. It's all gone. Urine therapy.
Yeah.
That's your cure for anything.
Yeah, I've been drinking distilled waters for the last 7 months, maybe 8 months now, from is it Andrew Norton Weber, who was on Santos's show. That's where I heard about all of this, and I found it. I haven't done the urine therapy yet, but I haven't been sick at all for the last.
Oh yeah, you've cleaned out a lot of the toxins with the distilled. What I will suggest to you, given that you've been on distilled water, you are in a beautiful position because you're running clean as it is. I guarantee you, your urine will probably taste like a Chablis.
No kidding. Wow.
I'm not kidding.
Well, I'm going to look into that.
Stem cells that are in there, it reverses aging. It reintroduces into your body everything that you need, because your kidneys are shedding stem cells. The gut area is where stem cells are generated. Stem cells can turn into any cell in the body.
Right.
So we're talking about age reversal. We're talking about if you got cancer, it'll split. There are so many testimonials. Again, it's about getting clean. And we have been poisoned with processed or taxed foods our entire lives. Time to clean it up.
Yeah. That's amazing information. Well, I'm going to definitely look more into that. Kind of shied away from it a bit. I listened to some of the podcasts, and I read some of the stuff off of Weber's page. I think it's Aquarius the Water Bearer. Had a lot of great testimonials, but mainly I stuck with the distilled water. I'll look into that for sure. I'm open-minded to it. It doesn't disgust me or anything like that. It's just something that I just hadn't gotten to.
Yeah, when you factor in, we had Thomas Murphy on. He's working with the Clean Water Act. That's what I mean about everything purging. And one of the things that resonated with me in that was with all the urine and excrement, whatever, that gets mixed up in the sewers, it's literally all the aspects of life, and it's a form of control. And when you have urine hitting water, within 3 hours it becomes toxic.
Wow.
So we're poisoning
our own water.
I think he said there were something like 65 known toxins that go into every time you flush your toilet that are going in and are being created. And it's no wonder we're having fish die-offs and all the rest of it. So, and it goes back to the City of London in the early days of the sewers, and you go back to the 1500s with the Great Plague, which really is more of the miasma, the spiritual poisoning, versus anything, physical. Because all ailments are energy ailments. We got, I guess, about 8 or 9 minutes left, Tony. Maybe you might want to touch on the energy medicine, Richard Cummers, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, the really brief way of doing this is, if you imagine, we've been walking around for all of our lives with shoes on, and those shoes have been insulating us from the grass, from the fields, from the earth itself. And one of the things that goes on within our own energy meridians, which we all know we've got, which are basically electrical wiring for the body. And a bit like the way that the Earth has got ley lines, which are the electrical systems that flow across the planet and take energy from one point of the planet to the other. We have energy meridians all over our body. So if you're actually outside with your feet on grass, you're doing what's called earthing. In other words, your body's swapping electrons with the Earth, and there is an energy balancing going on between your physical body and the Earth's physical body. So you're becoming in tune electrically with the Earth, because you're earthing out all the negative electrons and ions, and you're taking on all the positive ions. So there's this thing going on with us where, I mean, you go to a doctor and ask him for a pill to help your energy meridians. He'll look at you as if you're crazy, because this stuff isn't included in medicine. But it should be, because it's been included in medicine for thousands of years, in Chinese medicine. But anyway, the point is...
just really quickly here, another caller called in. Let you know that all lines are open. You are in the call. So go ahead, Tony.
Yeah. The energy meridians basically can become clogged, can become blocked, and can become out of balance or out of whack with either positive or negative ions. So you can treat the body using energy medicine. And I've got to really be quick. I haven't got time to fit all this in, but if people go to Syncrenicity.com, again, the information's posted on the chat room there. If they go to Syncrenicity.com, there's a couple of articles there on energy medicine, and that will lead you to all the information you could possibly wish to know about energy medicine, how they can get hold of it, how it works, and how it can improve their health on incredible levels. And it's ex-Black Ops military space race technology that we individually actually use. I'm trained in it, as well as several other people that I work with. And so we can treat people's energy meridians with a small machine about the size of a TV remote control, for want of an example, and it will give you incredible results. We've had people in pain for 20 years on opiates, and within 5 minutes, they're out of pain. You wouldn't believe this stuff unless you tried it. It's incredible. But anyway, there's loads of testimonials that are all available through those documents that are up there, Syncrenicity.com, and you're looking for energy medicine. The articles are entitled "Waking Up to Big Pharma? ? What now?" And we look at oils, we look at energy medicine, and all sorts of other aspects of healing. I'll just open the mic out for Kate at that point. Kate? I hope she's lost the button again. Yeah, there's energy medicine there.
No, yeah. Tony knows me. Yeah, Tony knows me. I'm half the time my computer is trying to think of where the little mouse thing is. But anyway, I just wanted to do a big shout out for Tammy. I just read through, and you and I, honey, and Tony and Santo, we're all going to do a show on exactly what you just wrote to me, and in your mirror, love. Because without people like you and all the listeners out there that have actually made the choice to choose truth over the bullshit, that's what's changing this world. Nothing else will. Nothing else can. It's making that a choice. And in the mirror with every comment you made, hon, and I love you more than you know. Thank you so much, hon.
Consciousness. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, thanks for listening to us guys tonight. We've got 5 minutes to go yet. You said there was somebody on the calls, Kate. Do we just want to open up for that one quickly, or...?
Okay, well, we have 2 calls in here. We got like 3 or 4 minutes left. So area code 775, your mic is trying to open here. I'll tell you in a sec. And, yep, your mic is open. And area code 80562, your mic is open. So jump in quickly, guys.
Hello, I'm Free Mom at 775. And I just wanted to ask you if you folks had heard about the One People's Public Trust and the former bar attorney who has come over to the light and assisted with something magnificent, perhaps beat the banksters and powers that be at their own game, and foreclosed upon them internationally. And as far as the United States of America is concerned, that the inauguration on Monday, supposedly for Barack Obama, who does not have that on his schedule on the White House website.
Oh, okay. You're speaking of Heather Jafar. You were breaking up a little bit there, so that's on your end or my
Yes,
end.
I am speaking about Heather as part of the One People's Public Trust. I didn't know if you folks were aware of that.
Yes.
Oh, very, very aware. I look at everything, huh? That's what I do. I listen to sorry. My vast database updated. Anyway, no, Heather Jafar, yeah, I've listened to the interview. There's one major one that went around. I've also been all over the transcripts. That's what I was saying at the start of the show. Everything is converging. And everyone, I even mentioned her name at the beginning of the show as well. So, yeah, we're well aware of it, and I do want to contact her to get her on a show as well, because I want everyone on this table, because we're all making a difference in our roles, and it's some beautiful stuff that's happening around. People need, never mind hope. Hope is for the ill-prepared, as Sue would say. What we have now is definable results. The system is running scared. They are terrified of what's going on. They're done.
As they should be.
Yeah,
perfect.
Agreed.
I agree.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm actually looking forward to checking out the inauguration Monday, because I'm of a mind the fact that I believe our new constitutional digital government has been put into place. So that ought to be very interesting.
Very interesting. And thank you so much. I just want to, we might go over time here, which will be recorded, and you'll be able to get it at the archive from the link that you're listening to. But I want to thank Paul and, Tony, great effort hooking this all up. I want to thank Paul and Critical Mass Radio for getting us on the air literally 24 hours after we were made the fun. So it's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Bless.
Area code 80562. Your line is open. I've already said the necessary, so if we go over a few minutes, be patient, guys, on the download for the archive. But area code 80562. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yes. Hi, Kate. This is Colleen, and
Hey, how are you?
I'm so good. Just being here and listening to this truth. I just wanted to say, last night when I was waiting for you guys to come on, and I hope I don't cry, that and you guys didn't come on, and I knew something was up, and I just wanted to put out there to everyone, the listeners, how important it is to give back, and this truth information that you and Tony and Santos and so many others are so beautifully heart open giving out. We need to give back. And what I wanted to do is to, I don't know where that we donate money to help with this. And I wanted to give $100 and to put a challenge, if you want to call it that, to other listeners. If 25 other listeners give at least $10 or more, I will donate another $100. And I don't have a lot of money, but truth, there's no money value on truth. And there's so much I could say, but I know we're out of time, and that was one of the points.
Oh, Colleen, I did hear you right, Colleen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, no, because it broke up when you said that. I think it sounded like Colleen, because I did a shout-out for you earlier, I believe. Well, contrary to...
Did you hear what I said, Kate? Did you hear what I was saying?
Yes, I did, love.
Okay.
Yes, love, and you've blown me away. And what I was going to suggest to you, I don't have any means to donate online. That was a very deliberate thing with me. But what you can do is, Tony, if you want to maybe give her your website info, because I know that you have a donate button there that anything could be sent to. Why don't you take care of that? And because actually, and I gotta be blunt, guys. As hard as it is for all of us right now, my only concern, or main concern in terms of this, is Tony, because he's had a hell of a run. And there you go. So Tony, share the information.
I'm sorry, you were just breaking up the whole time. It sounds like you're underwater. So I don't know what you said, but how about if I message you on Facebook, and you can And, I know the whole thing about the money system and everything, but we're still in it, some of us, so I don't know how that all works. But I know that, there may be somewhere we could contribute something in some way.
Okay, yeah, go figure I get broken up. Tony, I directed to you because there's no way online anyone can get anything to me.
Yeah,
I know they can get stuff.
Tony's been crystal clear all night.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I think they're hitting on Kate again. Yeah, there is actually
on
a
me,
website.
I'm not interested. I got too much work to do. I'll deal with getting hit on when I have the time once this planet's solved.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm so interested in hearing what Kyler has to say because that's what I do, hospice work, and that's one of my loves also.
Yeah, again, if you knew energy medicine and you knew what this stuff could do for people in hospices, oh my God,
absolutely.
You would be absolutely amazed. You really would.
That's what I do too, energy work with the hospice. So,
well, this technology is incredible, believe you me. There is a website that we've got set up. I published a free truth book called Blueprints of Cosmic Consciousness. Right. And there is a donate button on there. It's very rarely used, I must add, but I published a book in the beginning of 2011 that blew the lid off a lot of different things, including lots of medicine, lots of truths about what's going on in the world, from nuclear to physics.
Yes.
And it's free for anybody to download. I haven't charged for the book ever, but there is a donate button if people are so in a position to be able to do that. It would be unbelievably appreciated. But
yes, of course, just to give it back. And I don't know about Kate. I know that he could use some help too, and I don't know how to give back to him too in Santos. But I love you all, and thank you so much for what you do.
You're welcome.
Thank you, hon. Yeah, I just
it does.
I'm never really good at talking about this stuff. I don't know if you guys are making me out or not, but I directed towards Tony because Tony needs it more than I do. We're all in desperate position, but that's okay. I still have breath in my lungs, and I'm still standing, so I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if the listeners will hear that in my challenge, but just thank you so much, and namaste to you.
My pleasure. My honor.
Awesome.
Good night.
Good night, you guys. And hey, this was my choice to serve. I stand in it until the last breath.
Okay.
So actually, I'm gonna close off here, guys. We went over the clock, obviously, but this will be in the archive, so feel free to download it. And again, a big thank you to Critical Mass Radio, Blog Talk Radio, and Tony, and all that joined in the call tonight. You are my family. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
We'll be back on the air tomorrow night, probably, if I know me, with or without. So I'm on fire again. We needed last night. We really needed it. That set the fire again.
Yeah, time to wind up that critical mass, I think.
That's great. Thanks. Great day, guys.
Okay, guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you all, and definitely tag me on Facebook, Colleen, and we'll chat. I'm available to anyone. Chris, same for you. Same for Adam. Same for anyone that called in. You can get me on Skype, KatieRenee.com.
And you can also find me there as well.
That's great. Thanks. Love you guys.
All right. Well, love to all, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'll release the stats on the numbers on tomorrow night's show. Okay?
Great. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
God bless you all.